This is DE Dust 2, the most well-known multiplayer map ever made, alongside Nuketown and maybe a couple of others. It's also probably the most popular map in this game too, being simple, small and encouraging gunfights over everything. It's a simple map, in the way that it really doesn't have a gimmick past its very long and open spaces. Something that other maps stray away from in a game that kills people in a single headshot. The game I'm playing is CS. Counter-Strike, the first one, not the mod, but the first standalone project. I have 4,000 hours in CSGO, a game that recently turned off its matchmaking in favor of its engine upgrade CS2. This is DE Dust 2 in that engine upgrade, full of people, mostly Russians, running amok and shooting at each other, with not a single bot or empty slot in sight. To get this experience in the original is a journey. We have to press the very scary button in the main menu a console player wouldn't even dare come close to with their D-pad. We have to open the server browser. Hi, but you can just simply call me Amazon. And today we open the console and enter commands, and use the server browser. We talk to random people, listen to Russian disco, but also we listen to Russians. We wonder if someone is a bot in a literal sense or just bad at the game. But understand that this is a video detailing the liveliness or sometimes deathly quiet of these games. Games that were in their prime years and years ago. I won't review all of these games, I'll speak on them as they appeared to me at the time, a first look and shallow dive into the multiplayer component of these games with maybe a couple of hours of gameplay put into them at most. Instead, I want to look a bit closer at how they work today, a closer look at the way they're still alive, or dead. This is Counter-Strike 1.6. Or the original Counter-Strike. It's maybe the simplest way of playing the original game, not in a starting the game in the first place type of way, but in the way you have this amount of weapons, these maps, and that's it kind of way. There's a charm in the simplicity and focus on your mouse above all else that is undoubtedly lost in the later titles. It's not completely lost, far from it actually. In CS2, the current title, you still have to out-aim people to win. It's not Jigglypuff versus Peach in Melee, but to aim we need a target. Which brings us to how dead this game is. This game is, in my humble opinion, meant to be played in a 5v5 fashion. Sorry, I'm a bit boring, but that's how I want to play the game. To do so, we have to open the server browser and find people to play with. And right off the bat, we just see an endless sea of bullshit I don't want to interact with. This will be a trend in all Source games we're going to take a look at, but yeah, people like playing minigames and other side modes more than the intended way to play the game. You might be screaming at the screen right now to use the filter options and so on, but most of these options leave me with an empty server browser or with plenty of empty servers. Joining the ones with 1 or 2 players often left me playing against people I just have to assume are bots, made to look like players to lure you into playing on their server. I had fun for a couple of minutes against these bots, but their lack of skill, or horrible coding, was obviously getting boring. Instead, I tried to join the less vanilla experiences, in search of something less lonely. What I found was what I assumed to be Russians speaking about something. I found these stupid sound effects for events in the game, and this guy had a cool Santa Claus skin on his M4. Oh, and it was snowing on Dust 2 for some reason. I joined another server, where it was comparably quiet. A couple of players sat playing the game with a plugin or two to make the buying process a bit easier. I got a couple of kills and I died. This is when I found my first couple of bots. Moving your mouse like this isn't human at all. Why people want to play with bots is beyond me, but it was fun for a while thinking maybe I am good at this game. CS Source, the one released after this one, is the one I played the least. I don't know why, but there's just something off with the game for me. Something I'll probably talk about for an hour in my future CS video series. This is Day of Defeat, a World War II simulator with Half-Life graphics. There's lots of charm to this one, and trying out all the guns was a great time. I also met more people I could understand in these servers than in the others combined, alongside its engine upgrade, Day of Defeat Source. This game gave me some problems with its stupid control scheme and weird menus, but yeah, I had mostly a good time here. and this is its engine upgrade, Day of Defeat Source. This game was easier to get into, as it feels a lot like the other Source games I've played, but it also does have some quirks. Finding a game for this one was pretty easy, just open the server browser and start playing. Lots of cool people still play this one.
2 guys kissing your rocket at the same time.
And plenty of Russians. And on prime time I met lots of English-speaking people reliving their childhood. Also, lots of servers were branded for older people only, which was kind of cool to see. Never played this or the previous one when it was super new or anything, but seeing the game alive like this was cool. Last, this is Counter-Strike Global Offensive, a game that I've already told you I have 4,000 hours in. This was recently replaced with its engine upgrade CS2 or Counter-Strike 2, porting it to Source 2. This was ultimately for the best in my opinion, but it's still missing some of the features that this one had. The one I miss the most is this. CL_Bob. It might look stupid, because it is, but this makes the game so much smoother in my opinion, and it might also be the fact that I've used it for thousands of hours. With the aforementioned engine upgrade, this game's online matchmaking was turned off, instead making way for community servers to pick up the slack. These servers are pretty good actually if you manage to find them. There has been an exploit in the CSGO server browser for a long time now, putting hundreds of fake servers on the top of the list. I had some fun here, mostly because going back and seeing the old version was somehow already a bit nostalgic. Also, having the weapon on the left side of the screen was pretty cool. This is Slippi, a modded version of the Dolphin GameCube and Wii emulator, a project made for Super Smash Bros. Melee. This enables not just rewatching and saving replays, but a fully working online mode or two. This has rollback netcode, something I don't truthfully understand, but what it does is predict what you're going to do, and rolls back the game if that doesn't happen, I think. This means that if you're playing with someone with great ping, it makes it feel better than playing someone sitting right next to you. My favorite comparison to make here is the built-in lag Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has, but let's not dogpile that Melee wannabe right now. This mod also has a matchmaking system, not a weird command line you put into your modded version of an emulator, but a fully fledged and more than good matchmaking system. I won't delve into it all that much, but yeah, this single player and couch co-op only game has a better and more intuitive matchmaking system than most other fighting games out there. But what sets this one apart from the others I've touched on, a bit like CS and so on, is the fact that this game promotes a 1 versus 1 mode, a mode I just dread starting up. In the same way that some people hate players who complete Dark Souls with a summon or mage build, I hate when people play lame as hell. I play the so-called unranked mode to have fun, but some make me feel otherwise. This game makes me sweat, and not in a "man, that was hard" kind of way, but in a trembling, stressed out kind of way. I could and want to talk about this game for a long time someday, so let's just leave it at that. There's also already a video on my channel that tries and mostly succeeds to be kind of deep and reflective about these topics, ranked anxiety, improving, and stuff like that. Maybe go check that out if you want more. A couple of years ago, a lot of the older Call of Duty games became unsafe to play online. I didn't really know about this when making my 4-hour Black Ops 2 video, so the fact I got to keep my skins in CS for this long is kind of crazy, but yeah, you shouldn't use the official servers to play these games anymore. Instead, you should go look up Plutonium, a service that adds server browsers, anti-cheat, and plenty of players to these destined for death games. I had a lot of fun here, and its existence has me excited for a possible retrospective for a lot of these games in the future. I had some problems setting up some of the games, but Modern Warfare 3 and the original Black Ops worked without any fixes, so I played those. Despite being years upon years old, these games felt the exact same. Somehow I hadn't gotten better, and the people playing with snipers had. Go download it, have fun, and screw the big companies that made these amazing multiplayer games for not supporting them. I guess I'm pretty goddamn boring. I like to play these games the way that they were designed to be played, unless the way they were designed to be played is inferior to another way of playing them. That's why I love most of Plutonium and dislike most Counter-Strike servers I encounter. But again, I love Slippi, a way to play a 20-year-old Super Smash Bros. Game with a rule set someone just came up with. Someone maybe the furthest away from being a Nintendo employee you could be. Slippi is maybe the most important out of the things I've talked about today. The mod that adds a better multiplayer mode than modern titles to a game without a multiplayer mode in the first place. Some games were more alive than others. The Counter-Strike titles filled its server browser with special game modes and fake Russian servers, forcing me into weird and unbalanced side modes. This led me to take a chance on the super small servers, with 1 or 2 players in them. But even these 1 or 2 measly players often turn out to be mere apparitions of real players, instead leading me to empty servers. But I somehow enjoyed myself just walking around the map, looking at stuff I don't often pay much attention to when focusing on my crosshair placement and optimal timing for getting past the double doors on mid. It's a truly weird feeling seeing these otherwise action-filled and tightly designed combat zones empty of people. Lots of people smarter than me have made videos about exploring dead games, but this video wasn't really supposed to be that. Instead, I wanted to take a look at server browsers and where they often lead. Did I manage to do that? Not really, but returning to these old games was a treat. Thanks for watching. This is a weird video, but I'm a weird little guy, so who cares? The next big analysis is about Dark Souls. So yeah, wow, how unexpected. I've been recording and playing lots of Dark Souls these last few days. Almost 40 hours in the last 2 weeks according to Steam actually. Not a lot of progress on the script, but I'll start working on that more soon. I was featured in a huge video about Enter the Gungeon recently by Gas, so maybe check that out. I'll link that down below somewhere. I'm also consistently in the bottom left corner of the recently released Dorkax Left 4 Dead 2 video if you want something else to watch. I'll also link that down below. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and again, thanks for watching.